Welcome back. Taking a trip back in time in Saco. There's an opportunity coming up for you to explore the city and learn some history at the same time through a walking tour.
Here to tell us more about it is Saco City historian Peter Scontras. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning, Katie, Stephanie. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course. So first, let's talk about your role as city historian, what that entails, and how you came to be the city historian.
Well, the role is multifaceted. One, obviously, is to educate the public as to our history in the community, do some outreach, shows such as this in the schools, tours, media, and it's quite exciting. It's quite exciting. That's been a dream of mine for a long time, and the current mayor, Jody McPhail, who I had as a student, former student of mine, I taught for 34 years English. She nominated me, and I was appointed, and here I am.
I love it.
Are.
All right, without giving away too much, tell us about the walking tours and what participants will learn about.
Okay, the first walking tour we had was of Factory Island. Some people call it Saco Island, Cuts Island. Originally it was called Indian Island.
Okay.
Then Bonnythorns Island, our first settler in Saco, European settler, permanent. And then it was called Cuts Island. Thomas Cuts was an entrepreneur. He worked his way up in the industrial trade, very, very sharp in terms of business and mercantile. And he built a mansion on Factory Island. It's an island in the middle of the Saco River between Biddeford and Saco. Water is all around it, which was perfect for mills, sawmills, grist mills. And as the years went by, that opportunity and the way it was placed and the access of cheap water power to turn all the machines in the mills led to industrialization at the beginning of the industrial age, and textile mills found their way to the island. The first textile mill in Maine was in 1826. It was built in Saco on Factory Island. It was 7 stories high, and 1826 it burned in 1830. So the ownership passed from local people to outsiders away from the community, from Massachusetts more or less. And they built a beautiful mill, but it was brick. The first one was wood, and it burned.
So they learned their lesson.
Yeah, they learned their lesson. And on Factory Island, there's a huge amount of clay and a lot of ledge. So they had the raw materials right there, and they used it to their advantage, dug the mud out, formed the brick, kilned it, set it across the street. At the height of the Industrial Revolution, believe it or not, Saco was sending out 10 million bricks a year to the Industrial Revolution, where we had abundant amounts of clay. Across the river, Biddeford had granite. They had some clay, but they had granite. So all the ingredients for the foundation of those mills was right there. In 1841, there was a very, very important event, the first textile strike in the state by, we call them mill girls, factory girls, ages from, they hired them from 10 years old to 25, 35 years old. And I'll tell you that in just a moment. But the walking tour started as a way of getting this information out to folks. One reason why I started with the mills is because my cousin, Charles A. Scontras, who is deceased 3 years ago, age 91, was the state's labor historian, a professor at University of Maine. He wrote like 14 books on labor history in Maine, and I found that very interesting. And my grandparents, when they came over from Greece, worked in the mills. They thought the streets would be paved with gold, but they weren't, obviously. You had to earn it, and the way they earned it was to go into the mills. My paternal grandfather eventually found his way to Saco, as did my maternal grandfather and parents, and they worked in the mills. But then my paternal grandfather said, you know, when I was in my small village in Greece, I repaired shoes and nets and did a lot of leather work. I can do as good work as the people, the cobblers here, the shoe repairers here, as they're doing now. But there were 23 repair shops in Biddeford, Saco. He had the courage to open one. My father used to shine shoes in it, and my uncles as they grew up, and I did too when I became a little bit older. And that's how we connected to the mills. Our family was in it. So we put out to the public. They were offering tours. Great response. We had to limit the number, and even then, it was over what we had originally intended. So the public responded terrifically. We had another one of Factory Island, and this Saturday we're having one of Old Main Street down near the Cataract Falls, Pepple Square, that area, and Pepple Park, and the neighborhood surrounding it. And we already have, we're going to limit it to 30, but we're way above that right now. And I can't say
wonderful.
no to these people. They want to be educated. And I'm a teacher. So it's a perfect fit.
What does it mean for you to see this response, you know, such positive and
Well,
so many people wanting to take these tours?
It's affirming of what we always thought would happen, that there was a lot of demand out there for what we could offer, and it definitely has shown to be true, and we're excited.
Awesome.
You're a great talker there about the history and just bringing it to life, right? So aside from your history, what else would you say to anyone who's interested in learning about Saco specifically? Why would they choose to come to Saco to learn?
Well, Saco has a lot of history. If you're talking about the historical aspect of the community, we have a lot of history. In 1631, the first settler, Richard Bonnython, or anglicized now, but Bonnython, built his first home, and it was tremendous. It was like a mansion, and from there he attracted settlers because of the condition of him being granted property in Saco. He had to bring people over from England to settle because the shakers and the movers industrially in England saw there was tremendous natural resources in the area.
So Peter, I'm curious, like, as terms of the walking tours going from there, do you see more than just that in terms of learning or teaching history, I guess, in Saco?
Yes.
Or what's next other than this walking tour this weekend?
I'm scheduled to speak before some groups, social groups, church groups, and some nursing homes. I've already spoken to some schools and been in there and talked to the students there. I wrote a book on Saco in 1994, and this is kind of funny, but I'll let you know. Someone told me when I wrote that first book, it was a community effort. We built a 20 by 20 foot area on top of our garage, and people were coming in and helping with typing, offering photos, offering information. And someone said, Peter, this seems like a really great effort. You're going to write another one, are you? And I said, yeah, of course. Why don't you call this one First in a Series? Okay, so I called Saco Then and Now, Our Diverse Heritage, First in a Series. That was in 1994. I've had computer crashes, a concussion, all kinds of things ever since then. And this is 1924, and shortly after the year ends, the next book in the series is coming out, and I'm debating Series 2 or first or second of the series, or should I just bring it out normally? 31 years between series.
Like
I
the
don't know. What do you
cliffhanger there.
think?
I don't know. We're excited though. Excited to see what's next for sure. And is there a website where people can go to find out the hours of the tour? Do they need to sign up for this?
Yes. The communications department has advertised them, and people have noticed them on Saco's newspaper website, and they call me, or they use my city address, Peter Scontras at sacomaine.org, and they sign up that way.
Great.
Wonderful.
Perfect.
Take a walking tour.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you
it's
so
fun.
much. Very, very exciting, and clearly a city rich in history.
That's true.